Every once in a while, a show comes along that feels like it's out of nowhere and it just takes over everything. Today, we're going to talk about a new series from a legendary creator that is generating some serious buzz. The big question is it actually as good as everyone's saying? And when I say buzz, I mean it. I mean, look at this. Reviews are dropping bombshells like this one, calling it potentially the best show of the entire year. That is a huge claim, right? So we have to figure out if this is all just hype or if we're really looking at the next big TV masterpiece. All right, so let's really dig in. Let's unpack this hype. What is it about this show that has critics making such bold, almost unbelievable claims? Okay, so what is this show? At its heart, Pluribus is this wild, high-concept hybrid. Critics are saying it's like a cocktail of some of the best shows in movies ever. You've got the whole creepy corporate mystery of Severance, right? Then you mix in the paranoia of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the big philosophical questions of The Good Place, and even the high-stakes survival of The Last of Us. I mean, talk about an ambitious blend. And what's really wild is when this show dropped. It was a super late entry in the 2025 TV season, but it immediately skyrocketed to the top of pretty much every best of the year list. It's basically that late-game contender that's kicking down the door and demanding a spot on the podium. But to really get this show, you gotta look at the person who made it. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the creator took a massive turn from what we all know him for. Yeah, Vince Gilligan, the absolute legend who gave us Walter White and Saul Goodman. His name alone is basically a stamp of quality. You know you're going to get masterful writing, incredible characters. When Vince Gilligan makes something, people pay attention. So think about the leap he's making here. For years, he was the undisputed king of these gritty, deep character studies set in the criminal underworld of Albuquerque. And now, he's building this massive, high-concept sci-fi story about a psychic collective. But here's the cool part. Even though the genres are worlds apart, he's still exploring transformation, morality, and what happens when you put regular people into totally insane situations. But here is the real kicker. This isn't him just jumping into the deep end blind. Way before Breaking Bad, way before he became the crime drama guy, Gilligan was a writer on The X-Files. So in a way, he's actually coming full circle, back to his sci-fi roots. And boy, is it paying off. All right, let's talk about the plot. And this is where it gets really good, because Apple TV Plus kept this thing locked down tight, which just made everyone want to see it more. The whole show hangs on this one totally fascinating question. What if total, absolute happiness was the biggest threat humanity ever faced? I mean, we all want to be happy, don't we? But Pluribus flips that on its head and asks, what if getting everything you ever wanted meant losing yourself? And here's how it all goes down. It kicks off with a huge scientific discovery, and then, boom, the world changes overnight. Almost every single person on Earth gets absorbed into this one giant psychic mind. It's like a biological internet, where everyone shares thoughts, feelings, memories. There's no more pain, no more conflict. Everyone is just blissful. But our hero, Carol, is one of just 12 people who are immune. And for her, looking in from the outside, this perfect world, it's a prison. And she decides she has to be the one to save humanity from it. Honestly, the way they marketed this show was just brilliant. The trailers gave away almost nothing. They turned the show's actual premise into a puzzle, so you had to watch just to figure out what the heck the show was even about. It made those first few episodes an absolute can't-miss TV event. Okay, so we've got an amazing creator, a killer premise. But what are the actual ingredients, the things reviewers are pointing to that make this show a masterpiece? Well, if you ask the critics, it pretty much breaks down like this. Of course, you've got Gilligan's incredible writing and that slow burn pacing he's famous for. But just look at this chart. The biggest piece of that pie, by a long shot, the thing everyone is raving about, is the lead performance by Rhea Seehorn. She is the absolute anchor of this show. And hey, if you saw her as the incredible Kim Wexler in Better Call Saul, are you even surprised? Critics are saying she just perfectly captures this woman who's totally alone, fighting a war that nobody else even knows is happening. It's that thin line between desperation and sheer determination, and apparently, she just nails it. What's so cool here is the central conflict. You've got Carol, our hero, played by Seehorn, But the villain isn't some evil mastermind. It's the collective, this hive mind. And it's often represented by this very calm, soothing woman named Zosia. And Zosia genuinely believes she's helping Carol. She just wants her to join them and be happy. So you've got this conflict, but there's no real malice there. The antagonist is driven by benevolence, which is just a fascinating and frankly terrifying dynamic to watch unfold. And listen, for all you diehard Gilligan fans out there, I've got some great news. That signature pacing, it is back in full force. Just like Breaking Bad, every single episode feels like its own little movie, packed with discoveries and character beats that all build towards something bigger. It is just a masterclass in how to tell a story over a whole season. All right, let's pull all this together. The final verdict. Should you actually watch Pluribus? Well, if you're still on the fence, maybe this will help. Check out this number, 2. That is how many more seasons Apple TV Plus has already greenlit. They are so confident in this show, so all in on Gilligan's vision, that they've already renewed it for 2 more seasons. That means you can get invested knowing this story is going somewhere. And I think this final quote from a review really sums it all up. The argument people are making isn't just that Pluribus is an amazing show. It's that this show proves that one of the best storytellers alive is really just getting started. It suggests that Breaking Bad wasn't his masterpiece. It was just the warm-up act.
So the show really leaves you chewing on this one big question. If you were the last person in the world to feel sadness, anger, and frustration, but also the last person to feel individual ambition and passionate love, would you be the one to fight to bring all that messy, chaotic, beautiful humanity back? It's a heck of a question, and it's one that makes Pluribus sound like absolutely essential TV.